of SportsVibe. Probably the best intro that we've had since moving to this platform. But yeah, pretty clean, right? But yeah, NBA, NHL today. Big episode. We're in deep into the second round. The Knicks might be going for 4 tomorrow. So you know what I mean? Like very, it's quickly moving on here. But yeah, since the last time, I mean, we can wrap. I mean, we'll recap the ends of the first rounds for these series. Also the second rounds, how they've been progressing for the NBA and NHL. I'd like to talk some MLB too, the Yankees a little bit if we get a chance towards the end of the episode because I know we missed on last week, and I don't know, maybe if we have time, we could even do something fun like you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I was thinking about how, like, Rutgers has, like, KJ Duff and Antoine Raymond and, like, where they rank in the Big Ten or something. But I don't know. We could save, like, the little Rutgers section for the end of this if we get a good chance. But, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, like, I guess, how much, of the NBA and NHL have you been able to kind of, like, watch over the past week? Because it's definitely been heating up on both sides.
Well, I do know for one thing, especially in regards to the NBA. My God, did the Sixers look cooked? Just gonna kind of
Mm-hmm.
roll right into it. The Knicks have been absolutely belting the
On
Sixers.
fire.
I
Yeah, they've
mean,
been giving them
you're talking about 40-point win. Well,
against Atlanta, right?
6 point win. Um, and then they dominate again with another 14-point win. Are the Sixers done? Like, are they gonna? I mean, they slipped out of Boston's grasp.
Mhm.
Boston had them what, three
Mhm.
to one,
Three
and the
three one
Sixers
lead, yeah.
Sixers came back and won.
That was
You know,
unbelievable,
you
honestly. I
can't
mean, it
count
was
them
kind
out.
of
Yeah,
believable, but like, but I mean, still, like, I mean, I thought they had some life. They looked pretty good. I was a little bit worried. Like, I don't know. Me and my friends in the office, they were saying how the Sixers are kind of a bad matchup for the Knicks because Tyrese Maxey's very quick. Embiid, Rob, you know what I mean? Like on Robinson, this and none of that's happened. I mean, from game one, like the Knicks, yeah, it gave them like, that was a 40 point like like whooping, like like no question. Knicks came off firing. I mean, Jalen Brunson had 35 points. I mean, Bridges, after looking like, had a really bad series. Like, I mean, this series has been really good. I mean, then you have Anunoby, Carl Towns. I mean, game one was game one, right? Game two, though, that was a bit of a closer one. And that one was, I forgot that Embiid was out for that, yet it was much closer. Sixers probably, maybe could have won, but the Knicks, they did. And this one, like, I mean, again, Brunson 26, Bridges 18, and Anunoby at 20 or 24, Towns at 20. He's been playing really well. So this one, the Knicks kind of persevered in the fourth quarter. I think Jalen Brunson hit a couple clutch buckets. They sweep the Garden portion of the series. And then taking this down the turnpike to Philadelphia, where Knicks fans again flooded their stadium despite the efforts to keep them out of there, which was hilarious and totally predictable. I was just like, I don't know, like the Ticketmaster, like I guess they only one site like really did the geographical thing. The rest of them, or you know what I mean, just didn't. So like obviously the Knicks like swooped in the tickets in the secondary market, and you know what I mean, like yeah, I think the Sixers site, I guess, probably wanted, they geographically listed in the secondary market. They're just like, nope, like, you know what I mean? So anyway, Knicks fans like take the train, they take the bus, the one, however they ended up getting there. Probably some of them live around there too. So, you know what I mean? But like a group efforts of like, it's not a far drive. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like there's, people took buses, they, trains, whatever, like from New York to Philadelphia, right? New Jersey to Philadelphia, you know what I mean? There's like this mix zone that we're kind of in, but yeah, I mean, either way, like they get to Philadelphia from the city, from New Jersey, from wherever, and it's flooded with Knicks fans. And game three, though, like I don't know. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch too much of this. The Sixers were up in the beginning. I think they were up like 13-5. Really, like it looked like kind of like they were, and then the Knicks flipped in the second quarter. And then, yeah, by the end of the game, it was like a laugher again. And this one, I mean, Embiid comes back after an injury, and Anunoby's out. Like, and Anunoby's been probably their best player, like, for or outside of Brunson. But Jalen Brunson's been on fire this series, and he had 33 points. Mikal Bridges has been looking good again, which is nice to see. Especially as like a Nets fan, I've always liked him. He had 23. Towns had a quiet game. But I think the highlight of this was Mitchell Robinson putting Joel Embiid on a poster and like making him look like he was scared, and that was so funny that clip was all over the place yesterday, and like he absolutely got like bodied on that clip. And I mean yeah, he's still at 18. Paul George had 15 in the first quarter, then nothing. And Kelly Oubre had a team high 22 points. Maxi at 17, Edgecombe at 11. But yeah, the Sixers just completely like outclassed in their own building. It looks like they're done. I mean, Paul George just didn't like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, they didn't deliver, Embiid like shooting bad, like, flopping all the time. Paul George just like went off in the first quarter and then just went quiet. Like,
Embiid is such a flopper, though.
he's like worse than, like, I know Brunson kind of has a label for it, but he's not even that bad. Like, he at least tries to go to the basket, score. Like, Embiid literally just flops and falls on the floor. Like, and it's like
But
so
is it
frustrating.
worse than
SGA?
OKC?
No, it's not even just Shea. The whole team is doing it, and they're like doing it in the worst way. Like Chet Holmgren's like doing like twig, like, you know what I mean, like flopping. Like SGA is literally trying to manufacture contact. Like that's just some like terrible. At least, you know what I mean. Like Embiid like also does it a lot, but at least he, like, I don't know. It's not as bad as this, and he also like sometimes like has the game to back it up, but. Oh man, it's the way I don't know. That game was terrific, and the fact that Knicks fans were booing Joel Embiid in his own building, doing the FMB chants, doing the Knicks and four chants. Sixers fans were completely outnumbered. Knicks fans were just like, "This is like MSG part." You know what I mean? The Knicks players were like, "This is MSG part two." Like MSG West, because Philly's west of here a little bit, of the Garden. You know what I mean? So it's just like they took over. And yeah, the Knicks showed up too. I mean, they played well. Obviously, it wasn't just the fans, but you know what I mean. But like sometimes I like to be like, yeah, the fans did more than the team. Like obviously that's not really the case, but like when we like wrote for On the Banks, it's like the team didn't show up, but we worked really hard this week, preparing and writing articles, and like that deserves a lot of credit. But I'm like, they still put their bodies on the line at the end of the day, even if they lost by 50. But like, nah, I mean the Knicks fans did great. The team did really good, obviously, as well, and they're up 3-0. I mean I don't know. I mean I think Philly might be done. We'll see if they finish it off tomorrow in Philadelphia. Knicks fans, I'm sure, will be there again. If not, they come back to the Garden. I'm sure they get it done game 5, which might be even more. And it's, you know what I mean? It's beautiful because inside MSG, they have the watch parties for $10. So New York is like partying. In Philadelphia, they're partying too. Like, it's just like really good vibes, like with this Knicks team. And yeah, I thought the Sixers would be a more competitive series after they beat Boston. Like, I'm a bit disappointed that we haven't really. I mean, they kind of have like game 2 is competitive, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm a little disappointed in the way that they're playing. Like, you know what I mean. Like, this is not competitive. Like, you know what I mean. Like, one game was like it would be really embarrassing for them to get swept by the Knicks. After all that, you know what I mean. But that might be like the pace that they're on here.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks kind of look unstoppable. I won't even lie.
They
Like
do.
who
Like they look
who
really
in the East right now is
nobody.
seriously going to challenge the Knicks? I don't even think that the
Well,
Pacers are gonna. Not the Pacers, the Pistons. Sorry.
Pistons. Well, that's the only other team because I mean, I guess we can pivot into this one
But
because
hold on. I'm
sorry.
still talking about the Knicks. Like the
Okay.
Knicks have looked great, right?
Right. Right.
Over these past couple of games. The Pistons, they've looked
They're like,
eh, they're okay.
they're
I
okay.
mean, to be fair, the Cleveland has just looked terrible.
Yeah.
This that series even of itself is like is like two beat up wrestlers just flopping on each other, and the one just so happens to get the pin. But
Yeah. Yeah.
the Knicks, on the other hand, they look like they're running through everything.
Yep.
And as a Nets fan and as an avid
Hmm.
Knicks hater, I hate seeing
You don't
this.
really
Like,
like that,
because
huh?
I have a very strong feeling that the Knicks are going to make the finals.
They
They're going
are.
to lose, but they're going
Yeah,
to
they
be
will
there.
lose the finals most likely, which is unfortunate, especially if it's against the Thunder, who nobody likes. But yeah, I mean they're probably gonna lose, but who knows? I mean the way they're playing, like we'll see. But yeah, finals do look like if New York is finals bound, like I mean this city's gonna go insane. Like I mean they've already been going
Yeah,
crazy. But in
just to
terms of
lose in 5.
in 5, yeah, that would
Yeah.
suck. Ugh. But I mean yeah, like Thunder or Spurs, whoever wins that. I mean yeah. Damn. Oh well. But like we'll get to that when we get to that, I guess. But yeah, I mean in terms of the other, I mean it's like Yeah, in terms it's like since we do our episodes on Saturday, like a lot happens from week to week. So I feel like we have to give the backdrops and everything. So I mean in terms of Orlando Pistons, like I was so ready to like clown Detroit too, because they were down 3-1, they're gonna be out, and then they rally back and they win, in seven. And I mean, like the Magic are a young team, but I think what a lot of people forgot and maybe remembered in this is that Detroit's a young team too. They're figuring things out. You know what I mean? They're still like, I mean, not Duncan Ron, Kate Cunningham, obviously star, but everybody's young. They have a few veterans like Tobias Harris, former Sixer. They could have really used him. Like he was nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but like, guys like that, like Duncan Robinson, who, is like 3-point shooter, you know what I mean? They kind of put some pieces together, 60-win team in the East, but young, right? They faced real adversity. They're better for it. You know what I mean? Like I think that's something people forgot, that they also themselves, not only the Magic, but the Pistons were a very young team. And, now like the Cavs series was ridiculous against Toronto, and, overtime win, this and that. And the Cavs survived it. But I mean, the way Cleveland, I don't know, Cleveland's such a disappointing team. Like they're also kind of like a regular season like warrior, and then like in the playoffs they choke, and it kind of hurts because I mean they have Donovan Mitchell, who's like such a good player, really like him. James Harden, like that should be a team that like could compete with the Knicks, like could go to the finals. You know what I mean? Instead, they're like selling against Detroit. They don't even look. Yeah, they've been 10-point losses, but they've been completely like in Detroit's control. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I don't know what it is with these guys. I mean, it's like a two-man team, and then even then the two players themselves are like not performing at their at the level you'd expect like a James Harden and D Mitch to play, especially Harden. I mean, Harden just like chokes and sells every playoffs. Like at least Donovan Mitchell, you know what you're getting from him. You know what I mean? So anyway, they're in a 2-0 hole. I mean, the Pistons are having an easier time than the Magic, which it basically says everything you need to know about how that series is going. And yeah, I mean, I think Detroit might go for a sweep, maybe, or you know what I mean, maybe in five. The Knicks probably will get a sweep too, and like maybe in five. And I don't know. It looks like we're headed for New York, Detroit, and the thing about the Knicks and Detroit is Detroit did beat them like I think 3 times in the regular season by double digits, so there is that. But the Knicks are playing a lot better right now, I feel like, than the Pistons are. And certainly then like, and both of these teams are definitely playing way better than the Cavs and the Sixers are, because both of these teams are like not playing that great consistently at all. Like I kind of wish I watched more of this Pistons Cavs, because like but the vibes I'm getting is even though they were close in score, kind of like it was never really in question. So maybe maybe I'll have some time for game 3 today. Gotta get like a little like check on that. But like I mean I don't know. We'll see. Unless the Cavs have something to say in the homestand, like this could be a quick series. Just
Yeah,
like
I don't know. I don't think so.
probably
But
not, right? It's
maybe I'm
disappointing
sounding like
though.
I realize I'm like sounding like a Cavaliers like hater over these past couple podcasts. I'm not a Cavaliers hater. I don't really care about the Cavs. It's just
Fair. It's like post
there's so
LeBron Cavs, yeah.
like every time they're in the playoffs, they're just there. Like
Yeah. Like when they
they're
lost to the Pacers, like as the higher seed multiple times, right? Didn't that happen? Like
yeah, they lost to the Pacers. I believe they lost to the Knicks one time, if I'm not
I think
mistaken.
so. Or somebody.
I
Yeah.
just know that they're just there. You know,
But
they're
that's what frustrates me, because I like Donovan Mitchell, and like someone who used to defend James Harden in Houston, like when he was just being funny and like flopping all the time, and or like
yeah,
doing those step back threes and like ball hogging. I was like, this is fun, like enjoy it. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, no, fuck him. That's that, like that's not basketball. It's just like it's fine. It's funny. You know what I mean? I was like, I like it. But then like now, you know what I mean? But then James Harden just kept switching teams 50 times and becoming more selfish and egotistical and selling in the playoffs. And I'm just like, no, like, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, like, and he's just
yeah,
such a horrible playoff performer. Like this guy just chases bags. He doesn't chase winning. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He just changes teams whenever he feels like. He comes to contenders, never elevates them. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? You're supposed to pair James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. Like, there'd probably be a better team without James Harden. If we're being honest. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just really disappointing. Like, you know what I mean? Like James Harden, as good as he is, like he's never gonna win a championship, because like look, this is like his performances, you know what I mean? He doesn't make the team better. He's selfish, he takes away too many shots, he acts like he's the best, then he chokes, like constant cycle. Nets, Sixers, Clippers, here, you know what I mean? Like at least in Houston, he was like had the right to carry because nobody was around him, you know what I mean? Like I respected that. But all of this, it's just like nonsense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's so disappointing to see this team do the same thing year in and year out. You know what I mean? They should be good. They should be able to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, especially against a young team like Detroit. But of course, they're not going to. So, you know what I mean? Because they're not actually that good. So, I don't know. That's my rant on the Cavs. Like, it's like frustrating for me because I like them kind of. Like, I don't love, I'm not a fan of them, but like I like them. I like the players on the team, all of that. I feel like they're good, but like it's just like ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like the amount of incompetency that this team has in the playoffs is just like, I don't know, man. Like, if Harden and Mitchell can't like fix a team like that in a weaker Eastern Conference, then like I don't know what can. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe they're just like meant to just be in the regular season, like, like just like, the way they are. Like, I mean, it's just like, and it's still good, right? Like they're still a top 4 team in the East. You know what I mean? Like they're still one of the last 8 teams playing in the NBA. Like there's still nothing to like hang your hat on, but and the series is not over. Like they could still come back. You know what I mean? Like the series has not been in Cleveland yet. They could turn it on, absolutely. But like until they do that, like nobody's gonna take them seriously because every year in the playoffs it's the same movie with the Cavs. You know what I mean? Good in the regular season, choke in the playoffs. And with Harden, it's like it's gotten even worse. Like, you know what I mean? At least with Mitchell, they're kind of finding it out. Now it's like they've looked horrible in the first round and they look even worse in the second round. So like I don't know.
You talk about the Cavs, right? How they look horrible in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just like they used to look bad like in the playoffs, right? But at least it looked like whatever. This time, I feel like Harden's like made their usual pattern like even worse. You know what I mean? Which is like disturbing, like almost. But like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like it's just like as it is, they were not great. But like the fact that they needed 7 games to survive a Toronto team who's operating on like youth and vibes, like I mean, wow. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just like, and then
And the power of friendship.
yeah, I mean, good. You know what I mean? We'll get to see New York versus Detroit. Like, it should be a fun series. I wonder which player the Knicks fans are gonna antagonize. And start the chants with. That should be fun. Maybe Kane. I don't know. We'll see. But it should be a good series. There's a lot of hatred on both sides there too, because the Knicks beat Detroit, and I know like Detroit fans were really salty about that last playoffs too. So like, that should be fun one to see. And then the Pistons swept the regular season series, I believe, or took 3 out of 4, I think, in convincing fashion. So, you know what I mean? But I feel like the Knicks are playing much better basketball right now than yeah, they won all 3 games pretty easily actually. So, but I think the Knicks are playing better basketball than anybody in the East. Like, so this should be a different series. I hope it like kind of would go the distance or go longer, maybe 5-6. You know what I mean? Like not like another sweep in the ECF, but New York versus Detroit. Like it feels like both of like these teams haven't been this good in forever. You know what I mean? Like Pistons were like really bad for a long time. The Knicks were pretty bad for a long time. Lately got good. I mean, you know what I mean? It's been a while. This is like an old '90s style, like Knicks versus Pistons, like kind of thing going on here.
Yeah, you want to talk about like the '90s style, and you want to like Knicks versus Pistons, old '90s style. That's all well and good, but what would happen the second that they went to the ECF? You know,
Right.
they would run into the Bulls.
Michael Jordan's Bulls.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say don't take this in the wrong way, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Pistons, whoever comes out of this Pistons Knicks back and forth is going to run into OKC or is going to run into the Spurs.
Yeah.
I'm not out here comparing
Yeah.
Wembanyama or Shea to Michael Jordan. Don't take that out of context.
Right.
However, we all know that this means nothing in the end. Just like the Knicks fans and the Pistons fans back then knew that this
I
means
guess,
nothing.
but I don't know, like, because I feel like the way the Knicks are playing right now, like, they're like matching like levels of like what, like, maybe not really though, because like, nah, that's different though, because like the Thunder and the Wolves like are doing the same thing against better. I mean, not the Wolves, but Thunder and Spurs are doing the same thing to their opponents against tougher competition in the West and as the Knicks are in the East. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like
look what the Thunder is doing to the
to the
Lakers right now.
Lakers, yeah. Yeah, and that's without well, I mean obviously they're without Luca, but yeah,
True,
I guess
true.
we could segue into that because Lakers Thunder, yeah, I mean, you kind of knew this wasn't really going to be too much of a series, but it's just frustrating because I feel like I mean, outside of Shea, like the Thunder just have really good team basketball, like all these role players, but yet they're the best, in the NBA. Like, Holmgren, I mean, he's good. Like, you know what I mean? They have like good players, obviously, but like, you know what I mean? Like AJ Mitchell, like it just the team works. Like Jared McCain, who the Sixers could have really used. I don't know why they got rid of him, like hitting threes. Like, but it's just like the Lakers just couldn't keep up with this. The Thunder, there's it's just like their team basketball is just so like their defense, like the way they take the ball away, you force possessions, turnovers, fast breaks, extra passes, getting open shots. You know what I mean? They're like on a different level than anyone in those things. You know what I mean? The drive and kick. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like their system, their offensive system is so like oriented around driving in, then kicking out, finding the open shooter, hitting, having him hit a three, and then you got like SGA, of course, drawing fouls every 2 seconds. That doesn't, you know what I mean? It's just, and then on the defensive side, swarming, creating turnovers, havoc. It's just like an impossible team for most teams to even beat. You know what I mean? And game two, like it felt like the Lakers might have had a chance. They were in this thing, and I was, you know what I mean? I was like watching it, and like Austin Reeves is back. He had 31, LeBron at 23. There's big moments, and then the Thunder just evaporated it. They took the ball away, turnovers, hit big shots, 4-point play. I was like, it's over. You know what I mean? And then the Lakers lost their confidence. So even in a game where everything's going right, the Thunder is still 18 points better than them. You know what I mean? Like, right? Like, you know what I mean? And that's what Shea going for 22, then AJ Mitchell going for 20, Holmgren 22. Like anyone can get you buckets on that team. Jared McCain is 18. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, like all these like role players, they'll come off. You don't even need Shea dropping 40 points a game for them to be that good. You know what I mean? So it's just like they're just on another level. Like this could also be a sweep. Like maybe the Lakers get one, but I don't think so. Like the way the Thunder are. You know what I mean? They're just so good. They could just keep this performance rolling in Los Angeles. Too.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe they get one. I don't know. I think maybe the Lakers get one. We'll see. It could be wrong. Like I mean,
well, I would hard to see. LeBron is LeBron is absolutely the player that can take over one game. He
right?
still has enough left in the tank to take over one game. However, to take over an entire series like he used to
Yeah.
do in the past, he doesn't have that in the tank, and not against this team, because
No.
this Thunder team is built like a, you know,
Like
they don't skip leg day. Let's just put it that much. They're
yeah.
jacked from head to toe. So
Yeah. And also no Luca, but I don't know.
if
Like
they had
yeah,
Luca,
this would have been a fun series for sure.
if they
The
had
Thunder, I
Luca,
think, still would have
this
won
series
it.
is going. If they had Luca, this series is absolutely at least going to 6.
Yeah,
You know,
Lakers definitely take it because Lucas himself is like like a killer. He could drop 30 points. You know what I mean? He's also a great passer. Like he's like LeBron, a very similar player to LeBron James in a lot of ways too, which makes their pairing like very interesting. Like very unselfish, but also physical, but also strong, but also a good shooter. You know what I mean? Like he has that killer mentality, like all that kind of stuff. Like you know what I mean? But he's also not like a Kevin Durant level, like I'm just gonna score the ball type player. So you like it kind of really works, like but if LeBron's out and he could be that guy that like he drops 30, 40 points, you know what I mean? Like or like lead the team. If he's not there, LeBron can, but you really need both, like on like mega superstars on a night, against the Thunder team where like everybody's like really good, and then you have a couple of stars like Shea, you know what I mean? Like to
because one of
yeah.
LeBron's greatest strength is not his well, I'm not going to say it's not his scoring, but another one of LeBron's greatest strength is his ability
It's
to pass the
passing.
ball.
Yeah, and
He's one of
it's
the
like crazy
best
because like
passers.
because I mean he's a pass first player, but like you know what I mean. As good as he is at scoring the ball, he's the like he has the most points in NBA history now and his longevity. But one of his greatest gifts is his ability to pass the ball. Like he's not, you know what I mean. He's not like a Kevin Durant type, like Michael Jordan type, like Kobe type player. Like I'm gonna score at any cost. He's not really like a Steph Curry. Like I'll shoot the ball. Although Curry's also very unselfish. He goes, the way he runs around, goes around screens. He's different. But like LeBron James is, yeah, he's a bit of both. Like he could take over any moment, but he also is one of the best passers in the game. You know what I mean? So yeah, Right, you know what I mean? So and Luka's very similar too. He's also a very good passer, as well actually. So like like LeBron James I think one time said like Luka's very similar to me, and you know what I mean? Like if I had to like compare like my play style, I feel like it's him, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I see a lot of him. They're both strong, they're both unselfish. They can both attack the basket, they can both, shoot threes. I think Luka's maybe a little bit better of a shooter, but both similar. They're, that's not a huge facet of their game, but definitely part of it. And they're both very unselfish, but still have that mentality that we can, I could score 30 points to will them to win. But without, and sometimes when LeBron without Luka would do it, and now Luka's not there, and I don't know. I don't want to be like, oh, injuries ruin everything, but like they kind of did really ruin like a lot of the playoffs. Like Kevin Durant not being like available in the Rocket series, like season derailed. You know what I mean? Like Luka not being available here, like that sucked. You know what I mean? It's like all of these things just kind of really suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you want to see like these teams fully healthy, at least in the postseason. Regular season, sure, like fuck it. But like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. But you know what I mean? The playoffs, like, when the whole season leads up to that, like, it really sucks. But there's nothing you can do. It's timing. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it does suck. And also, the Thunder probably still would have won. But like, I mean, but like, we don't know that now. But yeah, I don't know. Thunder Lakers is just like a made for TV series, I feel like, because everybody, either likes or hates the other team. And I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like kind of funny in a way, but like
This
those
is
that just
this is the
screams like
definition of hate watching.
it screams like ABC, you know what I mean? Like Saturday night. Like
Yeah.
that's the times that tonight, you know what I mean? But it just screams like everybody watch this, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like it's just something about that. And then Pistons Cavs screams like Netflix or something like that. Like I don't, you know what I mean? It like that's the opposite. That's like a TNT like 3 o'clock like series that like you just watch to warm up. And the Knicks Sixers also feels like I don't know. That's like a different like rivalry. That one's also like a TV series. And then the other fun one though is the Wolves versus Spurs. And this is interesting because the Wolves actually got game one in San Antonio, right? So they got a steal. I mean, and
Yeah, but you know what? That's like the okay, you know what? The weaker team punched the bigger team in the mouth. Now
right,
the better team is
yeah.
woken up and now it's over.
It's good time because
You
the
pissed
game
them
two. I
off.
mean, whatever Greg Popovich did in their film session worked so well because the Spurs beat them by over 30 points, and you know what I mean. And the Wolves have like a lot of fun, nice pieces. Like I mean, Ant Edwards, Sharon, and McDaniel's, Randall. But I mean, they're no match for the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, the Spurs like you know what I mean. You got Stephon Castle, the guard duo, and Wembanyama, who's like a freak of nature, impossible to guard. I mean, you have Dylan Harper on that team. You have like all these guys, you know what I mean? And then game three, I mean, the Spurs take a tough one in Minnesota now, and that was a game where it was pretty competitive a lot of the way. They're tied at the half, and this was you know what I mean? And this was the Anthony Edwards versus Wembanyama show. If you got to watch this, those two were dueling yesterday. I mean, Edwards had 32 points on 12, 26 shooting, and then you know what I mean? He had a very strong game. Yeah, he had 32, 14 boards, 6 assists. Um, and then Wembanyama though he had 39 points. He made 3 of 5 from downtown for someone that size. That's impressive. He had 15 rebounds and 5 blocks. And so it was just a battle between him and Edwards, really. And then on top of that, he got assists from De'Aaron Fox at 17, Castle at 13, Gasol at 13, Harper at 8. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Champagne at 6. But it was really the Wembanyama show with some help from some of their starting guards basically, and the rest of that lineup. But it was the Wembanyama versus Edwards duel, for the ages. And the Spurs took a tough one in Minnesota. So I mean, now the question is, can they take another tough one in Minnesota? Because the Wolves are going to be playing with some desperation in Game 4 in front of their home crowd. Edwards, Randall. I mean, the way that those guys could play. You know what I mean? Like Edwards dunking on Wemby. You know what I mean? Yeah, like you know what I mean. So they're going to be playing with some desperation. If the Spurs could take this one, this could be over in 5. If the Wolves could take this one, now it becomes interesting. But I still, even then, I feel like the Spurs are going to take it in 6.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. There was this one clip of uh Spurs fans. They were holding up like posters that said raid on them, and because
Yeah.
they were
Oh my
chanting
god.
like ant and they had the raid cans.
Yeah, like an ant raid, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like like the bug killer.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I got it. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I was like wondering what that was. Yeah, that's pretty funny actually.
yeah, because that stuff's meant to kill bugs, and they were holding these posters up that said ant raid, and I'm like, oh my god, that's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, that is hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, this is a fun series actually. Like
This is
I don't know.
probably the
Like
best
I get
series. Like,
yeah, it's interesting to like look and compare because each one of these series gives off different vibes. Like Knicks versus Sixers, like is obviously like a fun, exciting rivalry, but kind of one sided in this case. Pistons
yeah.
versus Cavs, like a snooze fest. Thunder versus Lakers is like you know what I mean? Like, no offense, but
Yeah,
I'll still watch it because I love basketball, and I'm curious. But like, what the hell is going on over there? But Thunder Lakers is like, cinematic television, but like, it's not really the best basketball series. You know what I mean? And then
yeah,
Spurs versus Wolves is like the sleeper series, but it's actually the best one for real basketball fans that don't care about the brands, but they care more about the game and the fun. You know what I mean? That's a series I recommend for that. So yeah, you know what I mean. They all give off different vibes, but for the real hoops heads out there, we do watch Spurs versus Wolves. Like that is some good basketball.
yes,
That's some
sir.
fun, good basketball. You get to see Wembanyama, you get to see Dylan Harper, the guard duo. You get to see Edwards, Julius Randle. Enjoy it. I mean, and then we're probably gonna end up getting Spurs versus Thunder anyway. So that should be fun. It's just like ethical versus unethical basketball, basically. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think the Spurs are good enough to beat the Thunder. Like that might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think they could. I don't know if they will, but I think they could. And they showed in the regular season. They beat them 3 out of 4 times. I think. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like you want to talk about like the cinematics of it. I call it hate watching Lakers Thunder.
I guess,
Uh,
but not like what I mean. It's like it just like screams like watch this game, like you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
if you
oh
want
yeah,
to or you don't want to,
absolutely,
you're gonna watch it. But it's not like cinematic
absolutely.
and like it's the most beautiful thing you're gonna watch. It's really not like especially when you see like how much thunder flopping around, but it just screams like watch it. Like this is the best team going against the biggest brand. And the Thunder themselves are also like a big brand in a way, like you know what I mean, even though they're a small market, like they've kind of built that reputation now, especially from the Westbrook Durant era of like, like that they kind of have that presence too, but nothing like the Lakers, obviously. But you know what I mean. But it's basically best team going against solid team that's like a big brand. You know what I mean? It's like the Knicks basically on the West Coast is what the Lakers are. And plus LeBron James on top of that. So you have that on one side, and you have the best team who's also kind of a big brand in their own way on the other, and it just screams like watch this thing. Like if you have anything, you know what I mean, it just screams like watch it. Like I don't know why, but it like something about the Thunder and the Lakers, like it's like Knicks versus Celtics, you know what I mean. It's like I don't know, you know what I mean, something like that, you know what I mean. It's just those are just the names that pop off the page, like the Thunder and the Lakers. Like it just sounds like a good series. Like no, is it a good series? Not really, but like it definitely sounds like
Is it
you
a
know
good series? Not really.
Meanwhile, Spurs versus Wolves sounds like, oh, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? But in reality, like that's like the very exciting series that I recommend like everybody actually watches. But yeah, anyway, we should probably switch gears because I know the NHL playoffs have also been going on, and we could talk about that as well. So
Sure. So, do you
yeah, I'll
want me
let
to
you
take
take
the
the
lead
lead as
here?
usual. Sorry.
Do you want me to take the lead here?
Oh yes.
All right. So we're gonna get the boring series out of the way first. My God, what is Carolina doing to the Flyers?
Hilarious. Yeah.
I
So much for that. Like, I mean, they
As a
sent
very well
Pittsburgh.
documented Flyers hater, this
Yeah.
is great. This is
This is
amazing.
this is amazing, and it's so fun. Well, they sent Pittsburgh to the retirement home, which in a way is also kind of funny. Like I'm not gonna lie, but like I mean, yeah, the Canes are just completely outclassing Philadelphia, and I mean
Yeah,
three
you
zero
send
in game
Pittsburgh to the
one
retirement home just to get completely
for
overmatched
what?
against Carolina, like
Well,
for
I guess
nothing.
the fantasy run is over for the Flyers, their dream season. So hopefully they have fun. But the funny part is in the the second game, the Flyers scored like 2 goals in like 30 seconds or something like ridiculous, right? Like or like in a minute. Like I don't know, I wasn't really watching, but that's what I saw. And then Carolina comes back and they win the game anyway in overtime, and I'm just
Well,
like
yeah, because their
laughing.
goals happened in like the first period too.
Yeah,
They
like right
scored
off
two
the
goals
bat
in the first period and then
and
nothing
right
for the
back
rest
to
of the
back
game.
too, and then that was it. I think
Yeah.
basically.
No,
And
two
then
goals in the
came
first period,
yeah,
back to back, and then nothing for the rest of the game.
right.
You know?
Yeah, they were back to yeah, and then I don't know. I mean, I kind of had a feeling like they were gonna go into Carolina and be like outmatched like from the jump. You know what I mean? It's just like Carolina's like a different team, like like in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs only. But like but I had to throw that one.
I
But then
don't
like,
know. Like
not this year though. This year they look different. Like you know what I mean? Like
they have that fire in their eye
they
this year, it
do.
looks like.
Yeah,
But
it's different.
that all depends on how that fire looks when they get matched up against the Sabres or Canadians.
Ooh, but
Because
like
those are two
good
very
teams.
good teams.
And then the tropical storm rolls into Philly and hits them with the hurricane, 4-1. So
Yeah,
really,
this isn't the regular season storm anymore. This is the I don't know. I wish I had a better
the
pun, but
postseason
like
storm. I don't
I
know,
was gonna
like
say the mm, eh,
I don't know,
regular
but
season storm. Now it's the postseason hurricane. There we go.
yeah, something like
That's
that.
something. Hey,
Storm
they came
upgraded.
pulled out something.
Yeah, well, today's game 4 in Philly. The funny part about this is like the Knicks and the Canes are probably both like very well good chance that both teams get swept in back to
That
back
would be
days
so funny.
in the same building.
That would be so
So
funny.
funny.
Can you imagine what Instagram would be like after that happened?
Oh my god, like, yeah. Well, I
That
mean, at
would be
least for the
so
Knicks games,
funny.
they'll be filled with Knicks fans, like, I mean, and then this one, like, Flyers fans, I guess, will have to endure that, but I kinda hope Philly takes 1, like, it'll be embarrassing if they don't even do that, honestly, but, like,
I want it to be embarrassing. I hate
honestly,
Philly.
yeah, you're right, I don't like them, but, like, yeah.
Yeah, I hate Philly. I want it to
Yeah,
be
me too. I
embarrassing.
hate them too, and it's just embarrassing that they spent all their energy on like beating the Penguins, but also the Penguins just like were like they're ready to go to their retirement home, so like nothing I could really do there. But they like played embarrassing as hell until like game 4, so like they kind of like walked themselves into a loss. Like they were like taking hits from Philly. And also they chipped back, which was nice. And then, whatever. But like, you know what I mean? They let Philly set like a nasty tone in that series. And like Philly was going after hits, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's like it's postseason hockey, and Pittsburgh's like, all right, we'll respond. But on the ice, like they kind of didn't until game 4, and then eventually, then Philly just wins game 6. I'm like, okay, but Carolina's like a different beast, and like right away they are. So yeah, we're kind of just like. Just like the Knicks Sixer series, we're kind of like heading possibly towards sweet territory, maybe game 5. But we should definitely talk about this other one, because Sabres Canadians has been a very fun, very exciting series. We're only 2 games in, and we already have a Buffalo 4-2 win and a Canadians 5-1 win. And the Canadians continue their alternating pattern going back from last series: win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So let's see how this one goes. But these teams are not very geographically far from each other. It's not exactly Toronto versus Buffalo across the falls close, but they're Atlantic Division rivals. I know the Falls, like they lit up one side buff American colors and on the other side Canadian colors, but both of these are very hockey environments. You know what I mean? They both, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting series for sure, and like I don't know which way this is gonna swing because it could be Buffalo, it could be Montreal as well, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
You talk about Buffalo or Montreal?
Yeah, that series as a whole.
Yeah, well, both this is going to be the ping pong series, definitely. The back and forth out of all of them.
Yeah,
Both teams are really good. Both teams are hungry too. You
yeah,
know, Montreal has not been in the cup since 1994. Buffalo has not been in the cup ever, I believe. And if it was definitely not in the 2000s.
right, yeah. Wow. And yeah, the
Yeah,
Sabres have been like known for being bad and like missing the playoffs every single year. Like, you know what I mean? And the
yeah, they're
Canadians also,
hungry. This
yeah,
is a matchup of two teams that are absolutely starved for success. because if you look at it, there's only one Canadian team left in the NHL playoffs,
Yep.
and
Montreal,
it's
because yeah,
Montreal.
Toronto didn't make it this year. Ottawa lost. Edmonton lost, which is hilarious. But like, that's so funny. Like, the one year they don't have to face the Florida Panthers, they like just choke in the first round against the Ducks of all teams. Like, what the hell? But
Yeah,
yeah,
the
that's a good.
The Canucks didn't
Oh,
make it because they're
I mean,
terrible.
yeah, forget about that. Like the Flames also didn't make it, but they were less terrible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Canucks, Flames. I mean, but your usual suspects like didn't really do well. Like Edmonton, obviously. Toronto, who's usually a playoff staple, didn't. But yeah, Montreal is in. So they're still in. They're still going. Vibes are good. You know what I mean? I feel like
They're trying to change that whole thing. Oh, Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup since the '90s.
yeah. Well, Edmonton was supposed to change that, but they
They had
missed.
two
They
chances
missed
at it.
twice. Ridiculous. But anyway, whatever. I mean, I do like Florida better, but no, like I mean, you know what I mean? Like anyway, well, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
I
see. But
mean,
also Montreal made it to the Cup Finals like the COVID year, and they lost to Tampa, which was a weird one. So it's not like they've been that bad forever. Like that still counts as having a good year and whatnot. Obviously, you know what I mean. It's just a weird one, but like yeah, I mean, like yeah, I guess like when you think of the Canadian teams that have been really close, like you probably think of Vancouver pushing to Boston in Game 7 in like 2010. You think of Toronto choking every second round, that doesn't really count, or not even getting to the second round. You think of Edmonton and how close they've been, probably more. But Montreal, like I don't really feel like you think of that much. You know what I mean? Like, but they have the history of it, like back in the day.
I was gonna say, what do you mean you don't think of Montreal that much? They
Yeah,
have the most
the
Stanley
24
Cups in
Stanley.
history.
You're right. Maybe it just hasn't been a recent thing. I think recently it's been around Toronto and it's been around Edmonton, basically in
They're
Canada.
the only team in major North American sports that comes close to the amount of championships that the Yankees have.
Yeah, the 24 versus the 27. The New
Yeah.
York has. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Montreal and Cubs do go hand in hand. Well, cool. I mean, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, speaking of the Toronto Maple Leafs, I did want to mention that they won the draft lottery because I actually, for some reason, tuned into that live and saw the ridiculousness of
That
throwing a
was
ping
so
pong ball,
stupid.
and then they're like, "Let's go!" I was like, "Oh my god!" Like
You can't
another,
tell me that wasn't a plant. You can't tell me that wasn't like intended. Come
yeah, another
on.
star gonna be in Toronto, basically. Yeah, I don't know. The
Does that
Devils
mean
have
they're
had some
chopping
really good
Austin
luck with it.
Matthews?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but like I was just like, it's like when like not the league, the Mavs won the NBA draft lottery after like finishing like barely outside the playoffs, and like Nico Harrison's like throwing a party in the room. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in conspiracies, but I feel like something must have been up with that because like. You know what I mean with the Luca trade and everything. Like they must have been on into something. Like we'll trade him and you'll get like the first. Like I don't know. I know that's like crazy talk, but like I mean, like you know what I mean. Like I don't know, man. Like, you know what I mean? But this is exactly why you don't like spend your entire season like tanking and hoping for the best because at the end of the day, it's decided by like ping pong balls and fate, apparently, and not, you know what I mean? And it makes the whole like process look ridiculous, like in my opinion. And maybe hockey is different, but for basketball, like, you know how many teams got screwed last year in the lottery? Like the Nets going to eighth somehow, and like all these teams and the Spurs and the Mavs like end up getting really good players out of it after, you know what I mean? It's just like what the hell, like you know what I mean? It's like you're basing your whole like strategy on like ping pong balls, and then they don't even go your way, and then like I don't know, you know what I mean? This is why like tanking is like a failed strategy in my opinion, like or it could be a failed strategy because like it's just not fun. And then it sometimes just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like you think it would turn teams around quickly, but like they just sit there. And unless they're like the Thunder, when you like they did that really well. They were so bad they got all these really good, like all these picks. They drafted well, then you know what I mean? They made smart moves. Like, you know what I mean? They did the process like really well. They accelerated the timeline like crazy. And I think they're still getting the picks back from the Clippers trade which was the Paul George one, which is absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, meanwhile, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like this lottery thing is just bizarre, like to me, like, you know what I mean? Like, but anyway, I mean, it is what it is. It makes it more fun. But yeah, Toronto won that. I didn't mean to like interrupt your flow on the the NHL. I just kind of But we should talk about the Ducks and the Vegas, the Western Conference series in the NHL, because there's a couple good ones out there too, and I feel like the sleeper series might be like the Avs Wild. I mean, I feel like that's a very good one. Even though Colorado's up 2-0 on them, like I feel like that's kind of a battle of the heavyweights. This was like very like chaotic. It was like a 9-6 win by Colorado in Game One, which is just an unbelievable, unheard of amount of goals for one game in hockey. And then the second game, a more modest 5-2. And then now we go back to Minnesota.
Yeah, the
So
fact that we're calling a 5-2 modest is a little bit like nutty to me. I won't even
because
lie.
that's usually like
Because
a high scoring one in itself. Like, yeah.
I was gonna say, you want to translate that into football, 5-2 is 35-14.
Yeah, but like
You
nine
know?
to six is just like because the funny part is I think that game happened like the same day Montreal won in 7 or something like that, and Montreal only had 9 shots on goal to win the series, and they won 2-1. You know what I mean? And then in the next day, or maybe the same day, I don't remember. I think that maybe the next day that we opened this bizarre series with a 9-6 win, where you know what I mean, nine goals versus 9 shots on goal is just like a it's like a sorry, it's like an unheard of thing. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, wow, like that's just a lot of goals for one. Like where are these goaltenders at? Like I mean, that's just that was like insane. To, like I mean, just to see. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you give
I'm
up
not
nine
wrong
goals and you,
about
you give up 9 goals in a game. You shouldn't be doing that.
that.
You
It's
know,
way
you shouldn't
way
you
too
shouldn't be
many.
doing that.
Yeah, we haven't reached the double digit marker yet, but we almost did. So like that'd
We
be
are
fun.
pretty close.
Pretty close, but
But
I don't know. Are the Wild? I mean, like we talked about the President's Trophy curse a lot, but like I mean, the Avs look pretty good, don't they? Like I mean, this could be a year for them to go to
they
the Cup
do look
final.
very good. And you know what? They've been to the mountaintop before
Yeah, when they
recently.
lost to Tampa, right?
So did they lose?
Oh wait, no, they won,
They
right? Didn't
won.
they won?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I want
beat
to say.
Tampa.
Yeah.
They've been to the mountaintop before. It's not like this is a President Trophy winner with no playoff experience. That's why this might be different, you know?
Yeah,
And to be fair,
yeah.
with how they've played in the playoffs so far, how they took care of the Kings and are now beating up on the Wild,
Mm-hmm.
do I really trust the Golden Knights or the Ducks to be able to take care of business? Not
No,
really, you know?
right. But
Not
how is
really.
yeah, exactly. Like they Avs look like a machine here, and I mean, this Ducks Knights series has been interesting. I mean, obviously Anaheim, kind of the darling who beat Edmonton. We're expecting another what would have been a fun series between Edmonton and Vegas in the second round. But anyway, we get a little battle of SoCal versus Vegas, which almost feels like the same place because I feel like people like, from LA go to Vegas all the time. But like that's a different story. But like but like you know what I mean. But like Anaheim versus Vegas, right? So Vegas takes game one, the Ducks flipping on them. The same scoreline the other way, 3-1 in game two. I don't know. I mean, Vegas, to use the Avalanche in this, like Avalanche is them 6-2 in game three in Anaheim. So like, I don't know. I haven't really watched much of this, so I can't really like pretend like I know what's going on here. But it sounds like the Golden Knights are like definitely the better team in this series, and I guess the Ducks are playing like Cinderella house money kind of vibes. I guess we're getting from this.
If I'm the Ducks, and I'm held together by Scotch tape and the power of friendship,
Oh, mhm.
I
Yeah,
hmm, I don't know, because 6-2 is like that's a
yeah,
tough loss to
that's a
swallow.
tough
That's my
one.
that's my problem. Like that is a tough, 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 tough pill to
It's very
swallow.
decisive. Like it's not like a one goal loss or like
Yeah,
and it's on the road. Like yeah, that doesn't look
but
great.
but unlike unlike the Flyers and unlike the Wild, you don't find yourself in a winless series so far.
True. I
So
mean, you
they
have a
could flip
game
it.
and you can tie it like tonight, basically. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah, if you take care of business at home, absolutely.
you go back to Vegas tied 2-2, and
The
I don't
problem
know.
is I don't know how much of a home ice advantage Anaheim has.
Yeah, especially over Vegas. And like I said, like a lot of LA people go to Vegas. I'm sure that
That
works
that
very
Vegas
much
home
the other
atmosphere
way.
is crazy. Have you
The what?
seen like their pregame rituals?
Oh, I love yeah. It's the with the
Oh,
night and
they're
everything.
insane. The Golden Knights army has grown.
Mm, yeah, the whole thing that they do. I don't know. If I ever go to Vegas, that would be something, something to do besides the glitz and the glamour and the casinos and the fun stuff that you do in Vegas. Like, checking out the Golden Knights would probably be worth it. And they play into that vibe of Vegas and all of that too, a little bit. You know what I mean? It is like a show, you know what I mean, on ice in a way, like the environment. And it's a good team. Like, they've been to the cup, they won the cup, they're competitive every year, somehow right away. You know what I mean? But they represent like that feeling of like Las Vegas, you know what I mean? Like Las Vegas, Nevada, like paradise on earth or whatever it is. Like
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like you're heaven for sports betting and and gambling. And I don't want to get too much into the sins of Las Vegas on this podcast, but that's not really
These are your sins. What are you talking about? You
oh,
do.
oh yeah, you're right. I like to gamble and drink and have fun and like talk to people. You know what I mean? Like it's just all the
Yeah.
normal things that like we do. You know what I mean? But like in a much more like frivolous like format basically. But me and my friends I think are gonna take a trip to AC over Memorial Day weekend, which should be like Vegas like.
Ooh, okay.
That's gonna be fun as hell. I
Yeah.
cannot wait for that. Yeah. But anyway,
Vegas
cool.
light,
So
baby.
it is basically Vegas. Like I've been to AC, but not like for anything like this. Like it's like a guys weekend out. But yeah, no, it'll be a good time. I cannot wait. Anyway, before you get back into maybe we could save that for like a different podcast. But I mean it's like the personal podcast of SportsVibe or something like that. But like nah, like I don't know. But anyway, besides all of that, I guess that's kind of like our entire NBA, NHL like segments. Those are like all the series. I mean, since we missed on the Yankees, I kind of do want to touch on just how good they've been lately. I mean, and
Oh my God. Have you this has been so much fun to
it
watch as
has
a
been a lot.
Yankee
Every
fan.
night they've just been hitting home. Like right, Ben Rice has been good. I mean, Aaron Judge has
I
a
hate
lot
the
of
fact
runs.
I hate the fact that it sounds like they're peaking like right now, which
They
is a
looks like they kind of I don't know.
terrible time to peak.
And the
But like,
AL is
man, is this fun.
Yeah, the AL is really like barely anybody's over 500. The only other team that's in their vicinity is the Rays, and they've also been very hot right now too. You know what I mean? But I mean, the Yankees are
You're talking about the AL East, you mean?
yeah,
The AL
and
East
even like
sucks.
and even the rest of the Central and the West too. Like they're just like kind of there. And the Yankees are sitting pretty at 26-13. The Rays are 25-13. I mean, yeah, it
Yeah,
does sound like they
who would have
swept the
thought the non-Oakland Athletics would be in second place, by the way? Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah yeah
who would have thought the
they're in
non-Oakland
first actually right
Athletics.
now. Yeah.
No, second in the AL.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I guess behind the Yanks and the Rays, right?
No, they're ahead of the Rays,
Oh, really?
right?
No, they're 20 and
No.
18.
Oh,
Maybe in
because
playoff
okay,
standing because of the
because in the
divisions and
playoff
everything like that.
standings, okay, I got you.
Yeah,
The
Rays are
Rays are
yeah.
behind the Yankees. Yep. My bad.
Wow. Yeah, and I guess a year after the series, like Toronto's like kind of looking pretty mid. And then we flip over to the NL, and I mean the Dodgers are still the Dodgers, I guess, but they don't look as good as like these top teams. So like this year, like the Cubs that look very good. I mean the Braves that look like very good. They bounced back. They're 26-13. I mean suddenly Philadelphia like is come back to
Well,
life, but a little bit.
we all know that the Cubs are not legitimate. I'm sorry, like the
Yeah,
Cubs are
the
never
Cubbies
legitimate.
at 27-12.
No, they're never legitimate. They're
Yeah,
always
they're a fun. Except for that one year they won the series after 108 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, which is crazy. But yeah, the Braves look like their usual selves that we remember them as. And
yeah.
yeah, I think yeah, with the Braves, the Yankees, and like the Rays, like those are like the three like legit teams. Like the Yankees, their pitching rotation is like stellar. Like you know what I mean? Like you can't get anything better than that. And we're literally gonna have I mean Garrett Cole coming in and like Rodon. Like I mean the hitting has just been like off the charts. I mean every night you can expect it feels like Aaron Judge to hit another homer. You know what I mean? Then you have like Ben Rice now in the lineup, and I mean you have like I don't know all this. You know what I mean? You have guys like Chisholm and like who can come in and out and on and off, and Rosario like has a night, and you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's an interesting team, and like It was giving me like, it was stressful in the beginning of the season when they were kind of not doing as good, but they've been just rolling so hard. Like, they swept I mean well, they didn't sweep the Rangers, but they swept the Orioles in 4 games. I mean, it's just like in baseball there are losses in there, and it's like you don't really mind them because they took 2 out of 3. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of
It's
in the
more,
group.
baseball's more about series.
Yeah, series. Do you take the series? Because well, I just realized they played the Rangers in Texas, and then they played them in New York, like right, like 1 series or 2 series later after the Orioles series, and they swept the Orioles. And the last 2 games were 11-3, 12-1, and then against Texas again this time. Well, yeah, Texas took one. But like that happens. Like baseball is very whatever, and then now the Yankees go back on the road to Milwaukee. They lose 6-0, but because they've been doing so good, like
Well, they
nobody
got a
cares.
long road trip coming up.
Oh
Actually, they
yeah,
got
other
Milwaukee on the road,
yeah,
Baltimore on the road,
yeah,
and then the
and
Mets.
the Mets.
The Mets not really a road trip.
Yeah, you're basically back home for the Mets series. Like that would be a
Yeah,
fun one to go to, like on the Subway series. Like I don't know, I've never really been out there for that. Should be fun, but
yeah.
like
Just watch the Yankees take over their stadium.
obviously, but like, yeah, early Subway series. Yeah, so I guess Toronto, Milwaukee, Toronto, and the Mets. Mets isn't really like a road series, and then you're back home anyway for the Blue Jays and the Rays.
Milwaukee, Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's Milwaukee,
Oh yeah,
Baltimore.
yeah. What did I say?
Toronto.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Failure.
Milwaukee, Baltimore, the Mets, which is basically kind of a home series, and then yeah, then they'll be actually home in the Bronx against Toronto, Tampa, and then out to Kansas City in the West. Anyway, I don't. There's like months of baseball left to be played, but they do look really good. Like, is my point, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's a lot of it's early, but like they do look really good. It's a fun year. I mean, what I mean, like they're hitting it's bombs away, basically, you know what I mean? They call them the Bronx Bombers for a reason. So living up to the name. I guess yeah, I mean, kind of like a fun point, like I was seeing on like Rutgers Twitter that I kind of did want to end with was like how good like our playmakers could be relative to other people and like other teams in the Big Ten. Because like you know what I mean? I think there's a real argument you can make that KJ Duff is like the second best receiver in the Big Ten next year behind like Jeremiah Smith. I think you can also make the argument that Antoine Raymond might be the best back in the Big Ten, or maybe at least 2 or 3. I mean, I know the Oregon Ducks have a really good duo. Ohio State, Bo Jackson really broke on the scene as a freshman. But I don't know. I mean, yeah. There's like a real argument that you could say that KJ Duff is the second best receiver in the conference behind Jeremiah Smith, and Antoine Raymond.
There's an argument you can make that he's gonna be better than Jeremiah Smith this year.
I don't know. Jeremiah Smith is like different, though. You know what I mean? Like, but
And so is KJ Duff.
that's true. You're not wrong.
Mark my words.
It's like 1A
KJ
and 1B. I mean, yeah, because KJ Duff can make like Jeremiah Smith can make these ridiculous like plays, but KJ Duff proved that he also can, like the way he,
KJ Duff can also go over somebody if he
that's
needs
true. Jeremiah Smith is more like a highlight reel like machine, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And KJ Duff's both. Like he's a speed threat, a deep threat, a highlight reel grabber.
And
like
he's a big
bigger.
guy.
He's
He
6'6".
can go up and get it.
Yeah, he's a jump bucket. Jeremiah Smith is like
I don't think KJ Duff was that highly rated coming out of high school.
I don't think so. I mean, I know Jeremiah Smith is, and he also has size. So I think he's more like 6'3", not 6'6". But yeah, they're both very good like players. And then I guess like the real question with Rutgers is quarterbacks. Like I mean, whether Surace or Lonergan is going to get the job. I probably feel like it's going to be Surace. And then how good he is and the defense.
Yeah, KJ Duff was a high 3-star coming out of high school. Can you believe that?
Wow, yeah, which isn't terrible to be honest with you, but like I mean,
it's not terrible, but he the way he plays, he should have been like a 5-star.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think he definitely broke out, and even among like Ian Strong, who's also very good. Like he looked significant, like he looked like the real package. You know what I mean? Like so, I wish we could have kept both, but like I mean, it's NIL and everything. I think we made the right choice in keeping Duff and keeping Raymond on the banks.
I think Ian Strong wanted to be the guy, and you can't blame him for that.
Yeah, and because he could be the guy on many other teams. You know what I mean? Probably. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's very good also, and DT Sheffield's out of eligibility, but I mean, I liked him a lot too as number 3. But I mean, we have speedsters like Ben Black and
that offense was lethal, especially between the 20s. That offense was lethal.
Oh yeah, I mean, tough, strong Sheffield as a slot. Yeah, I
It
guess the
was
other
who are you gonna defend? Who are you gonna defend? You can defend Duff and Strong, but then you had Sheffield who would cut you up underneath.
yeah,
You could
yeah,
bring the
or go,
defense up
yeah,
and then
or
leave your corners on an island with Strong and Duff, and you don't want to
good
do
luck with
that.
that. And then you have Antoine
Yeah.
Raymond to cut it up the middle. I mean, like, yeah, good luck.
My God, if we just had a competent
I
defense, think
know.
about
Well,
it.
this year I think we
You know,
will though. Like, so it should be
yeah, but we
interesting.
don't have. I don't think we're gonna have the same. We don't have the same like explosive offensive talent that we had last year.
No, well,
You know,
some of it, but like not all of it. We won't have AK throwing the ball, I guess, which could hurt on that side of things. Because I feel like Cerise is gonna come out like very safe, very steady. He's a quarterback's coach son or whatever. You know what I mean? He's
we're
gonna,
just lucky. We're just lucky that we have like two scrubs in the beginning of the season that we can just beat up on
yeah, UMass and
for
DC.
yeah. But
Yeah,
like, think about it. We put up like 36 points against Penn State, 35 points against
38. Right. Wait, 30. Yeah,
you know
38. Yeah, 40
28
against
against
Penn State. 28.
28 should have been enough to beat Iowa.
Yeah,
28 should
28
have been
points
enough
and
to
and
beat
a
them.
loss to allowing 38 points to Iowa is like disturbing, honestly. Like you'd expect that from like UMass or like something like that, Like I mean,
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? You make an offense like that look that good. And they were better than their usual offense. I'll give them credit for that. But I mean, they were not that good. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was just a lot of better teams struggled with Iowa. Like Oregon beat Iowa 18-16, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy, you know what I mean? We like our offense did better than a lot of like good offenses like against Iowa, and our defense did so much worse. And that was the whole story of the season right there. But this year though the over under is 4.5. I don't know. I feel like that's a little low. Like, but especially like I know our schedule is kind of hard. But there's a lot of winnables on it. I feel like Rutgers at the very least could win 5 games. I think the range is kind of realistically between 5 and 8. I would say,
so
like, you know what I mean?
here's my thing, right?
Yeah,
6 and above, ideal,
yeah,
right?
right.
5 and 7 to me is kind
Yeah,
of the expectation.
yeah. It just
4
like I
and
guess yeah. You split it into your like UMass BC, like the non-conference bundle 3-0. And this year it should be an easy 3-0. There's no like whatever like missing.
my whole thing is like you should at least be 5 and 7, at
Right.
least.
Because like
4
the
and
road
8.
teams against Maryland and Northwestern and even Wisconsin this year, like you should be able to win like most of those, like most of those types of games. And even like Nebraska at home, like could be a winnable. But yeah, 5 I would say is like the minimum of
But
like what expectations should be at.
if they go 4 and 8 like expectations, hot seat. Hot seat.
Yeah, and I know like the On Three guys were saying this. Like I saw the clip on there, and I
Well,
think
I
that's
agree
what
with
brought it to
them.
them.
They're
Yeah,
right.
four
They
is
are
it's 4
100%
would be the
right.
hot seat because that's basically 3-0, 1-8, and that's not acceptable. Like
You can't sit around with this amount of talent and not win in the Big Ten.
right, because
Nope.
it doesn't matter if you win the first 3 games, like or the EC3 and you destroy. That doesn't then like you should be in a different conference. Is like my then you should be in the ACC if you want to flaunt about the non-conference record and how we beat every ACC team we ever play. Like it's bullshit to me if we don't win the Big Ten. And on top of that, we play the worst ACC teams too. We don't even play like the good ones. But anyway, I mean, we play like the middle to bad ones, and we barely win them too. And we barely beat Ohio, and like all anyone wants to talk about is how good we look in September. And then Iowa, everyone wants to talk about how bad we look, and I'm just like, this is the experience of being a Rutgers fan, I guess. But like, hopefully this year we lock in and win some games in the Big Ten. I do feel like what's gonna happen is we end up. Also Michigan State at home. Like, we're gonna probably win a lot of road games in conference play enough. And we're also probably gonna beat MSU at home and probably ruin their season, like the way Penn State ruined ours. And like it'll be nice, but the rest of it will be tough sledding against teams like USC and Michigan and Penn State, and especially Indiana for homecoming. Like I don't, that's just gonna be like something else. But like
Why did
the
they
rest
have to
of it,
make that game homecoming? Have we learned
I don't
nothing
know,
from the
man.
Oregon game?
It's gonna be worse than the Oregon game. Indiana like did to Oregon what Oregon like did to us. Like you know what I mean? Like completely like pants them. Like it's gonna be bad when the Hoosiers come here. It's not gonna look like the Rutgers Indiana games that we laughed at how bad they were when when we still beat them when we were
We're
trapped.
gonna say all this, and then Rutgers is going to come out and punch them in the mouth.
They should. There probably will happen is they'll score the first touchdown of the game. Everybody will take screenshots, and then they'll lose like 55-7. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that was like one of the
Ohio
Ohio
State
State
thing.
games
Yeah.
where it's like Rutgers has scored its first ever touchdown against Ohio State.
I was like, shut up. But we were beating them at halftime in the 23, and that was a real one. And like everybody's like, oh my god, 9-7. Jay Patel hit 3 field goals, and then that was a fun one. I remember being on the call for radio. That was a good fun game.
We almost listen to me.
If we were literally a interception away from like a hospital pass from Wimsatt away from taking the lead at 16-7 on them, and then maybe Ohio State still wins, but you know what I mean. That would have been like, oh, Rutgers like really punched them in the fucking mouth, and like, you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, if they at least kicked a field goal, they would have gone up 12-7.
Yeah,
at least.
It sucked. Yeah, we were one touchdown away from really making it interesting with them, like.
But because I guess Gavin Wimsatt has no regard for Kyle Monangai's health, because like,
oh my god, like,
dude,
that ball was so badly placed. It like went off his hand.
Do you remember like the gasp? Wait, you were on the call for radio, right?
I was doing.
You were in the party deck?
I think so. I was watching this whole thing live.
That's crazy because I was working in the party deck. That was when I worked at the stadium.
Yeah, it was like one of the few times I did one there, but no, it was nuts. Like, yeah, it was a really cool first call for me because, like, especially as someone who kind of likes Ohio State a little bit, and definitely Rutgers and everything, and Ohio State being number one, like, it was really like an amazing, and the way Rutgers played in that game, where they really matched up to the Buckeyes in the best way that they possibly could as an underdog. Like, it was a beautiful thing to see, really. We are here, you know what I mean, was what I got from that game. So yeah, no, great. But like, I mean, anyway, I mean, we'll see how Rutgers does this year. I hopefully pretty well. I mean, 4.5, I feel like take the over on that. I feel like the money could, like benefit you on that. I'll just put that out there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. It should be a fun season. Hopefully we get to make some trips out to like Boston College, Maryland, even like Penn State. Like if you know what I mean, could be a road trippable game. Like, there's a lot of opportunities for travel near us, I guess I should say, or drivable distance. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, in the meantime, enjoy the playoffs, everything, another big weekend, and the vibes are always high in SportsVibe. We will see you next time.